record it the right way this time. Good. So I want to transfer in today, and I want to, this is going to be a little different transfer in. I want you to think about, and I'm going to keep my eye on the waiting room so that I can pull people in as we need to. I want you to think about the last car that you bought. Or if it's been a really long time since you bought a car, or maybe you're in the market for one, maybe you can think about the car that you would like to buy. I'm okay either way. Either the last car you bought or a car that you are interested in buying. And I want you to tell me why it is that you're interested in that car, or what was it about that car that caused you to buy that particular one. So let's see, John, I'll start with you.
Fancy that. It was my wife. She had been wanting to get a new car for a while. She knew what she wanted. She wanted a Subaru. A really good friend of mine's a master mechanic. Ran it by him. He said it was the easiest car I ever worked on. I had one in the past. With the rain and everything in South Florida, you know, the all-wheel drive was great. She could get her nursing stuff in the back. So she landed on the Forester. And it was a pleasant experience. It lasted about 4.5 hours from dumping the old one on them, which we just prayed that it wouldn't smoke or something. And it was a great experience. I mean, I wouldn't ride with her on the test ride. I wanted the salesman to do his bit, and then I was just in there for the F&I, and she threw half down, wanted her payment to be a certain thing, and that was it. But it was a really good experience, which came out of a bad day, you know, with the other one.
Yeah, sure. So what would you think, so your wife is the one that ultimately made the decision on that car. It sounds like she's the one that said, yep, this is the one. What was it about that one? If you could narrow it down to one or two things, what was the one or two things that, yep, this is the one?
It just fit her lifestyle, you know, and the safety aspects of it, and the reliability, you know, the history of it. You know, it was just, you know, the car was a good car. It was just a perfect car for her.
Nice. Good. Thank you. Let's see. How about Armando?
All right. So my story was a little bit crazy because we were looking for an SUV, and we wanted something that's reliable, but also you know, it's not going to break the bank. So we went with to the dealership, the Hyundai dealership, and we were looking at I think it was a Santa Fe or one of those. I don't remember the name of it. But anyway, we were there, and then my wife looked at this SUV, and she said, "What is that?" to the lady, the sales lady, and she goes, "Oh, that's Genesis." And we're like, "What is that?" "Oh, that's the luxury brand of Hyundai. You want to take a look?" So we're like, "Yeah, let's take a look, whatever." We ended up buying a GV70, twice the price of the Hyundai Santa Fe. And why did we bought that car? As soon as we got inside the car, the look, the feel, the detail, the luxury of the car, we just knew that we wanted to get it. And we didn't know anything about Genesis other than Tiger Woods got into an accident and he almost died, and he was driving a Genesis. That's all we knew. And he survived, and they said because of the security of the car, whatever. So we didn't know it was an SUV, SUV of the year, Motor Trend. We didn't know any of that. We just knew that we were just at all, and we just loved the car, and we just paid a bunch of money for it. And we're really happy.
Nice. I love it. I love it. Let's see, Patrick, how about you, sir?
I did buy a truck about 1.5 years ago, and I ended up with an F-150, and pretty much I wanted to have a truck that could be able to pull a travel trailer that we purchased. So it needed to have proper gear ratio and the capacity to pull certain weights. I was always, you know, F-150s is, you know, a good brand, you know, well established here in Texas. think every other car, every other truck is a F-150. But it need to have, I wanted to keep it a 6-cylinder, 3.8, and they were kind of tough to come by. I had to call 3 or 4 different dealerships, and one did come through, and they found exactly what I wanted, because I pretty much researched the heck out of it and knew exactly what vehicle I wanted. So I wanted to stay with the 150, and because of the price range, 250 is a little higher, a little more expensive, but the 150 is exactly what I needed. So that's what I chose. And I found something that was black. And the only thing it wasn't available on the one I looked at. I wanted leather seats, and I just did that aftermarket, and that worked out pretty well.
Nice, nice. Let's see, Azam.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, I wanted an SUV, and went shopping to a few dealers, and as we got into one, we were looking at something, and he talked me into a hybrid. It was a pre-owned though, which I tested drive it, and it was very good. And he talked me into it because of the price of the gas. It was very high, so at that time, so he convinced me, and it has everything that we needed in that vehicle. So it was very much fully loaded. We loved the car, so we decided to go on with it.
Nice,
Still have
nice.
it.
Good. Let's see, how about Mike?
I'm driving the Beast. This is what we're driving today, picking up from thing. This thing was given to me by a good friend of mine. I ended up buying it off her, but I'll be honest, I spent 16 years in the car business, so I'm not looking at a car right now. So I haven't even given it the slightest bit of thought. However, when I do, I will probably look at what lease specials they got going on, what kind of residuals. Every manufacturer's usually got them. I'll see what's out there, see what I like. I'm a big believer, if you're going to new cars, go ahead and lease. So, I'll see what's out there. Then I'll narrow it down by which has the best deals. And then at that point, I would go start looking at the features and which, brands and stuff I'm leaning towards.
Nice. Timothy.
It's been a while since I bought a car, but the last one I bought was it was a work car, and I needed specifically something that was good in the snow because I traveled the Northeast. So I wound up getting an Audi. Their all-wheel drive is pretty amazing, and I was very, very happy with it.
Nice. Let's see, Roland. This should be good.
Last lease was Alfa Romeo Stelvio TI. Just because I liked it.
Yep. What was it about that car that said, nope, this is the one?
Well, I felt like I had to get an SUV for some reason. I didn't really want one, so I found one that drives like a sports car.
Okay. Love it. I followed you guys know I work from my home office. I'm better equipped in my home office than I am the office in Atlanta. And it's normally about a 3.5 hour drive for me to go from Atlanta to my house. Last week, it took 5 hours because Atlanta's traffic was so bad I couldn't get out of the city. And but there was one drive back in particular that it was less than 3 hours for me to get back, because I got behind a Porsche Carrera, and we went from just outside of Atlanta, from Conyers to Augusta, and I don't think we dipped below 100 the entire way. So anyway, I probably shouldn't admit that on a recorded call, but nevertheless, here we are. Let's see, John Hester, your last vehicle, and what made you decide to buy that one?
Yeah, speaking of Porsches, my old car was not a Porsche. It was something economical, something safe, because I was doing regional sales covering 10 years. So I was transitioning out of that. I didn't need anything economical. And my neighbor was buying a brand new Porsche. And so he was getting rid of his older BMW 135i. And I test drove it. I'd never driven a BMW and I loved it and ended up buying it. But I bought it because it's fun to drive and it was priced under market value. So it was a good
Nice.
value.
Nice. Good. Jesse.
I recently bought a GMC Acadia about 2 months ago, and then going to be in the market for probably a Mazda CX-5 or so.
All right. So what specifically about the Mazda CX-5?
Oh, well, they're fun to drive. They got a little pep in their step. They're nothing too crazy, but they're fun to drive. They have a lot of the technology that your Mercedes has at an economical price.
Nice. Nice. Let's see. Amelia.
Good morning. So I actually just bought a Subaru Outback in August. My car of many, many years, finally, it was done. And I always say, it's my favorite saying, I ride it until the wheels fall off. Until I just cannot drive anymore. But I don't want to say cheap, but I'm definitely not your typical 25-year-old that like wants, I guess, fancy stuff. I'm not a materialistic person. So I do travel with my kids a lot. So I just wanted something that was going to be safe, you know, something that if someone was to hit me, it has a strong frame. I have a 6 and a 3-year-old. Also, I don't want to keep stopping in the middle of a desert or wherever to get gas. So I wanted something with really good gas mileage. And the Subaru Outback had that for me. It's really easy maintenance, not too much work, and the engine is actually pretty spread out, so you can see everything. Like John was saying, it's a really easy car to work on. Very spacious, so my kids are not like fighting elbows anymore of mom, he touched me. I didn't get the leather seats, and that was kind of something, you know, give and take, pros and cons that I had to kind of back off on. That would have been like an extra $6,000. So I had to kind of accommodate, and I went and bought me like the all-weather, you know, seat covers, things like that. But that was pretty much it. And the price was right. They had the right finance options, and I just went for it.
Nice. Nice. All right, let's see. Dave Lee. And the Ford Transit Connect doesn't count. Sorry.
Dang it, man. It has SVT wheels on it. That thing is beautiful. Yeah, FCI made me do that. So yeah, I sold Toyota for a few years. Just fell in love with every way that they put those cars together. I also sold Caterpillar, so kind of along the same line, a little more expensive than what you can find, but the reliability is second to none. So back in 2007, I wanted to get an SUV, found the Sequoia that I was looking for, and I've lifted it and replaced a couple of ball joints, and that's about it. So it's been reliable. I've put almost 200,000 miles on that thing with just no issues. So that was my goal. The thing was running strong, and I absolutely plan to dig a gigantic hole when it's time for me to go, climb in the driver's seat, and that's where I'll be buried.
I love it. Hopefully it's a long time from now. Good. Let's see.
I don't have that shovel yet.
No, David Tanner.
Good day, everyone. Last car I purchased was a Nissan Altima. It's the car I drive right now, other than my new van I just recently received. And we purchased it because my last position was sales, local to the area here, and needed a little white sedan, good on gas. That's what we got.
Nice. Josefina.
Okay, for me, it was when I came to the US after 2 months, I saw a lot of cars that I like, and I go to the agency and I told him, you know, I mean, I want to see these cars. And he said, okay, do you have your social? I mean, whatever. Yeah. Okay. Did you see all the cars that you wanted? Okay, there's only one that you can get. It's a Toyota Corolla. So I said, okay, great. That's mine.
Nice. So he made it easy for you. You're in one option. That's it.
Completely.
I love it. I love it. Let's see, Dan Adkins.
I am also a former, I like to say a car salesman in recovery. Sold cars back when I was 22, and that was a long time ago. My most recent purchase that I think, besides the van, is my Ford F-150. I hate rust, and I also hate spending a lot of money on cars. And there's a dealer in the Omaha metro area that he specializes in bringing up work trucks, your classic white utility trucks from Texas, Arizona, Nevada. He goes to the auctions down there. When he gets a load, he brings them up here and sells them. Always drive past his place, never wanted a white utility truck. But there's a black Ford F-150 sitting there, and crawled under it. It was a 2002, not a shred of rust, nothing. I mean, like it was like a new truck. It had scratched glass from desert sand. But you know, I went in there, it was kind of like buying a lawnmower at Home Depot. I just went in there and I said, what are you going to take for it? He's like, price is on the dashboard. That's what I'll take for it. I said, all right. So I cut him a check for $6,800 and I had a truck. It took, honestly, maybe it took 15 minutes. And that's the truck I drive today. It's the truck that Anthony is using as part of our install process. And, you know, it's probably going to become property of my company here pretty soon with little title magic. Woo, woo. Might even put a wrap on it as a production supervisor vehicle. We'll see. But yeah.
Nice. I love it. I love it.
Truck's got to be worth about 10 grand now.
That's exactly right.
I'll sell it to you for $99.95, Mr. Lee.
Sold.
Let's see. Richard Weaver, while they work that out in the chat. And you're muted, sir. And we still don't hear you. I don't know if you're double muted or what the story is. So I'm going to go to Ashley and I'll come back to Richard.
Hi. Sorry you can't see me. I'm actually sitting outside of an install right now, and for some reason my internet is not strong enough to support video. So anyway, I can see all of you. You look great. So my last car, my lovely husband Chris totaled our old SUV in an accident, so we kind of needed a car fast, and I was super overwhelmed. I'm not a car person, so I put my my retired surgeon father on the job because he researches like none other, and he narrowed it down for me. Our criteria were we wanted a third row seat because we've got two little ones, and I wanted a second row that had captain's chairs and good gas mileage, and that was pretty much it. So he narrowed it down by, you know, all the things that grandfather would be worried about, safety and all of the other things. And we ended up with the Hyundai Palisade. So that's what I've been driving around when I'm not in a Ford Transit Connect.
Nice. Nice. Let's see. I saw Portia jump in here. Is Portia still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
There she is. Nice. So what's the last car that you bought, and what made you decide on that particular car?
So besides the van, I was driving a Jeep Cherokee for the longest, and it finally went out on me. And I tried to get it fixed. My husband's like, you need a new car. And I said, if I get a car, I'm gonna get what I want. So I ended up getting a BMW X3, and it's the
Nice.
M40i.
So why that one in particular?
We went to so many different vehicle places. One, I love the suspension, German automatic. I just love it. The color, how fast it goes. We went to other dealerships. I didn't like the customer service. Okay. When I went to the BMW place, normally you're supposed to give them your driver's license to test the vehicles. The guy was like, just get in the car, let's go. And he was like, just go as fast as you want. I went to the Porsche dealership because my name is Portia, but worst customer service ever, ever. And so when I go into these places, I dress basic. You know, you don't know how much money I have. So, you know, so when I went in there, the customer service was really, really bad. So, but
Nice.
overall, customer service with BMW, that's why I went.
Nice. Nicely done. Let's see, Sam. Let Sam unmute himself.
There we go. There we go. Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Last vehicle I got is a Ford Flex because I needed something bigger, but not a truck. I wanted something lower to the ground with a flat roof, comfortable, decent mileage, and all the accessories. And it was in my price range. So when I saw it, I fell in love with it and bought it.
Nice. Clean, simple. Grant. I can't leave Grant out of this.
I'm probably the most boring of them all. I am on my 4th black F-150. I got my first one at 16 and have driven each one of them until the wheels almost fell off, as Amelia liked to say. And each time, for whatever, the creative juices in me just went crazy, and I bought the newer version of the black Ford F-150. So I'm currently on my 2012 black Ford F-150 with 200,000 miles on it, and 100,000 more to go, I'm sure.
Right. So this is Grant's brand. He's a black F-150. That's it.
That's it. Steady,
I love it.
no drama.
I'll sell you one for $12,000. Dan?
All right, let's see. Alyssa.
Good morning, everybody. Well, once again, I'm on my computer and it, for some reason, never wants to give me camera access. So like Ashley said, you all look great. You can't see me, I can see you. But my last car that I bought was very spur of the moment. I was actually going in for an oil change on my current car, my Toyota CHR. And took my fiance with me, whose car we had just sold because it was just a piece of crap, but there were a lot of people that wanted it because it was a Pontiac Grand Am GT. And I don't know anything about cars, but apparently some people like that kind, so you know, whatever. But anyways, we sold his, and I was like, well, for shits and giggles, let's go look at the car lot down here at Parker Toyota in Idaho. And my fiance looked at me kind of surprised because my aunt is actually the finance manager of a Toyota up in California. And that's actually where I got my car and got a steal of a deal on it. So he was kind of shocked at me when I said that, but I was like, it's fine. Let's just go look, because I was working another sales position and kind of gotten a little too big for my britches and was like, you know, oh, I can definitely outsales a car salesman. So we went in and I just kind of sat down with a guy and I was like, look, we need a truck or an SUV off your used lot, and my monthly payment will not be over $400 a month. I want all the fixins as far as tow mileage, free oil changes, all the warranty stuff included. I said, and if you can't get me that or call your boss too many times, then I'll just go to my aunt in California, and I guarantee I'll get it cheaper from what you can get me anyways. And so I kind of put the incentive into his head, I guess. He pulled up a few lists or whatever, and we ended up landing on, well, test driving a Toyota RAV4. And because we kind of had the idea of like, we have 2 big dogs, we have a German Shepherd and a Akita Mastiff, we travel, we go on hikes all the time, like we need space. We were like, okay, SUV will work. And then since I was in a sales position, it was convenient because then I could carry more things if I needed to on certain days. And so he test drove it, he liked it, and I looked at the guy and I said, well, you have your parameters, so work your magic, I guess. He went, instead of calling his boss, he just walked into his back office and said, look, we won't make the money on this car, and we need to be selling cars right now, because this was actually during COVID. So we just need to do this. And his boss came out and said, okay, I can get you all the fixins, all the discounts, and kind of line itemed it out for me. And I said, okay. So
Nice.
my fiance looked at me very shocked, and he actually asked me when I said, okay, he said, wait, are we actually doing this? He's like, this isn't for shits and giggles anymore. And I said, yeah, we're actually going to put our name on this.
I love it. I love it. I like it. Make a decision. I love it. Let's see, Anthony.
Are
Hello,
you
everyone.
are you looping in my new guy?
No. I've got Anthony from Southern California.
No, I was gonna say, because he's late because he had car trouble. You're gonna really hear a story, but we won't do that because he's not on the clock yet.
Hello, everyone. The last car I bought was a Ford Raptor. The reason why I bought it is because I've been living between Texas and California for some years now. And in Texas, you definitely need a four-wheel drive vehicle. So that's what inspired my sale. And I wanted something with power and that can have fun in.
I like it. Yeah, because I mean, you could get a lot of other four-wheel drive vehicles without jumping all the way to a Raptor. So
Yeah.
There's a little more to it than just
Yeah.
that.
I like
I know
power.
exactly what vehicle that is.
I got rid
Good.
of I had a T-Rex before the Raptor, but driving from California to Texas and back and forth, the T-Rex was killing me on gas. So
Sure.
the Raptor had better gas mileage.
There you go. All right, let's see if Richard's got his sound figured out. No, we don't have sound.
Can
No,
we
how
hear
about
from
now?
Savannah about her recent acquisition?
Hey, Dave.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. What was the question? That's bad. I'm here to take attendance. What was
Well,
your,
then tell us about,
your first
tell us
car
about your
purchase?
exciting weekend.
Oh, I got engaged.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all. But my first car purchase was after someone slammed into the back of me and totaled my car that I'd had since I was 16, which sucked because I didn't have a car payment. And I needed something in a weekend and I had to go buy a car and it was in my budget. So that was my first car purchase.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. All right. So why did I do this? There is a point to this. So I want to talk about the reason why people buy what they buy. And of course my screen went out. So let's figure out what's going on here. Let's see if Richard's got his situation going.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Oh, now we've got you. Good.
All right. Let's see. Last car purchase was a Dodge Ram truck because I totaled my last car.
And what was it about the Ram truck that made you decide to buy it?
It was way under market value. So I got it for like $7,000 instead of like 14. So
Nice. So that must have been during COVID and certainly not after.
no, actually it was like 2 months ago.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Yep. Lots of looking.
Good stuff. All right. There's a point to all this. There is a point to all this. I want you to think about your reason for buying the vehicle that you bought. And when you think about that, I want you to think about your reasons and the reasons that other people gave. And I want you to sort of put them into two buckets, okay? In one bucket, you've got all the rational thinking. And in the other bucket, you've got all the emotional thinking. Okay? And when we think about how people make decisions, the left side of your brain is the rational side of the brain, okay? So this is the side of the brain that's probably more concerned with things like gas mileage, I'm going to put safety, but I'm going to end up putting safety on both sides. Okay. Reliability. There were a couple of you that mentioned, you know, I got this at a super great deal. That was just a price thing. Okay. Then you've got the right-hand side of the brain. And the right side of your brain tends to control emotions. Now, I want you to think about all the different reasons that we just heard. Okay. This vehicle made me feel comfortable. This vehicle was fast or fun to drive. Okay. I'm going to put safety on this side as well, because there's a component of safety that's like, this is a rational decision, because if there's an accident, my kids, whatever else, but there's also an element of feeling, right? I mean, there's a feeling of safety. Whether the vehicle is safe or not safe, I mean, you haven't wrecked your vehicle yet, so, and hopefully you don't, but who knows what that vehicle is going to do in a particular accident. So it's there's a certain feeling of confidence, so safety and confidence that goes with this. Okay. We think about things like, let's see, I'm just going back down through things that were fun, things that were that had all the features I liked. Who was it that said, oh, it was Armando that said, I just like the way it looked. The look and the feel of it. Okay. So when you think about how people make decisions, if we were to go through, and you don't have to trust me on this, you can actually go back and rewatch through the recording. You know, I'm writing down these notes for everybody and the different things. You know, Roland wanted something that drove like a sports car, and there was people that wanted stuff. And a lot of it has to do with the way you feel. And that's not just vehicles, okay? It actually has an impact on the way people buy just about everything they buy. And what you're going to find is that for your customers, and even for your decision making, about 80% of your decision making is controlled by your emotions, and about 20% is controlled by the rational part of your brain. So when you're thinking about how am I going to sell a floor to somebody, how am I going to pick out the perfect product for somebody, okay? We think about things like, oh, I want a floor that's going to be, give me some features of flooring. Give me some features that you've already learned about floors. Just throw them out.
Waterproof.
Rustic. Stain resistance.
What else?
Scratch
Durability.
What else?
The look of it.
Ah, yeah, see? All right, and this is the point. So there's a whole list of features. Okay, we can go on and on and on, and we can list all these different features that are out there. This is a waterproof floor. This carpet has a waterproof pad. This pad is, you know, it's going to be bulletproof. You could wrap yourself in this pad and get shot 6 times and you'll be fine. I mean, it's just, there's all these weird features that are in carpet today, right? And so oftentimes what ends up happening is we get into this mindset that, you know, the customer has this problem and this problem and this problem, and I'm trying to find the perfect solution to solve this customer's technical problem. And what is the customer really interested in?
Look.
How's it going to look and how's it going to feel? I mean, that's where 80% of what they're looking for. Now, I'm not saying that the rest of it's unimportant, okay? The features and the other things, yeah, they're important, but they're not going to supersede how does it look and how does it feel. They're not going to supersede that. When you approach a customer about how you're going to solve their flooring problem, It's probably not, with rare exceptions, and there are exceptions, of course, but with rare exceptions, it's not going to end up being that you found the absolute perfect, there's only one answer out there. This is not math. You are not trying to solve a mathematical equation where there's only one possible solution. That's not what this is. You're trying to find a floor for a customer. They love the way it looks. They love the way it feels. And then, yeah, how is this going to last? And how do I keep it clean? Those are the only 4 things that your customer is really going to pay attention to. That's it. Now, sure, price is going to be a question. Is this going to be within my budget? Is this going to do what I want it to do? That's all great. That's all great. But most of the time, when you're talking to customers, it's going to be about the company, how comfortable they are with this floor, and does it feel good, and does it look good, and am I excited about it? I'm excited about floor. Maybe not. It's probably time to start. I mean, if you can't get a floor to get your excited about. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah,
My video is completely locked up, but the sound seems to still be coming through. There we go. All right. So what's happening? Well, my wife is on a Zoom call at the same time I am, and I'm trying to push all this technology through, so it's fine. All right. So at the end of the day, most of your sales are going to come from an emotional place. You're going to have to be excited. You're going to have to show a smile. You're going to have to be excited for your customer. If you can be positive, if you can be energetic, if you can be inspiring, if you can be friendly, and if you can help get your customer excited about what's happening, you've got a really, really good chance of solving their flooring problem. And just know there's not one solution. This is a look and feel game. This is a look and feel game. Who remembers the questions? The step 2 questions. Anybody?
When all the furniture and everything is back in the room, exactly what do you imagine this looking like?
Yeah, I like that word, imagine. Not image, although image is probably a good word too. Imagine. Right? What do you want your floor to look like? How do you imagine this is going to look? That gives the customer the opportunity to just sort of visualize everything. What else? What other question do I want to ask in step 2?
What are you looking to accomplish?
Feel like.
Yeah, okay. What do you want to accomplish? John, tell me more about that question. What am I trying to do with this question? What do you want to accomplish?
See what their end game is. I mean, when this is all said and done, I mean, are you looking to move a piano in on this spot and make it your music room? What is it you're looking to do? Do you have further decorating that you're going to do around this? And then it just opens a door to different colors, different schemes.
I want to know how you're going to use it, right? I want to know how you're going to use it. You're here looking to buy a brand new car. What are you wanting to do with this car? I mean, are you wanting a car that's going to get you, 60 or 70 miles to the gallon? You're not terribly concerned about fast or performance, but you really, really want to control the how many times you stop at a gas pump. Okay, well, that's one type of car. Or is this a car that you want to be able to sling it into a corner at 90 miles an hour and it sticks? Okay, well, that's a different kind of car. That's a different kind of experience. Okay, good, right? Same thing with the floor. Same thing. The only reason I use cars as an example is because we all drive them, so we all have some experience with it, and we've all had to go to the dealership or go somewhere and buy one at one point in time or another. So we've all got a similar experience around that. Some of us have never bought a floor. There's people on this call that have never bought a floor. Okay, so now let's think about it from the customer's perspective. What is it that they want to accomplish with this space? What do you want this to look like? What are you trying to do with this space? I remember going into a customer's house, and this was way before COVID. This was way before working from home was as prevalent as it is now. And the guy had an office in his home, but he wanted his office to look like, when I asked him this question, kind of, what do you want this room to look like? Never mind the floor, but what do you want the room to look like? He kept going on and on about how he wanted this room to look like a medieval castle. And he had already bought shields and spears, and he was going to paint the walls a particular color to make it look this way. And he wanted a floor that kind of went with that theme. Okay, great. So now I know what you're trying to do with this. You want this to look like a castle. Great. I can help you with that. All right, good. What else? What other question do I want to ask in step 2?
How do you want it to feel? What kind of textures are you looking for?
Right. 100%. What kind of textures? So if the customer is looking for carpet, what are some descriptive words about the way carpet feels?
Plush.
Okay. What else?
Soft.
Okay. What else?
Textured.
Sorry?
Textured. With the
What do you
texture.
mean? What do you mean the picture?
Like has a pattern to it. With the pattern.
Oh, the backing on the carpet?
Talking about pattern.
Pattern.
Oh, a pattern. Okay, so how do I want it to feel? How do I want it to look? Do I want a pattern?
Easy to clean.
Yeah. Is it going to be easy to clean? Okay. All right, so if I told you, if you came to my home and I said, look, I'm looking for a carpet. I'm kind of conservative in my decorating style, so I just want something that's neutral, but I want it to be soft. I want it to feel good underfoot because, a lot of my day I spend on my feet, so I really do want something that's soft and plush. Do you think you can go out to the van and find something for me?
Yes.
Yes.
I would hope so.
Be able to, I'd hope so.
Yeah, I would hope so. Do you think there's more than one thing in the van that'll do that?
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
Garland?
Yeah, John.
At this point, wouldn't want to, because that was one of the questions that I always remember from step 2 was what about your existing flooring that makes you want to replace it? I mean, if I'm going out to the van, I don't want to bring them the same stuff they want to replace because they hate it. So, I mean, I really want to get that thing out there immediately, sort of save myself and them the aggravation.
Absolutely. Yep, I agree with that 100%. So what is it about this floor that makes you want to change it? Right? What is it about this floor? Maybe, yes, I like neutral, but I don't really want boring beige. Okay, well, we can figure something else out. Okay. Or maybe, yes, I'm looking for something soft and plush, but I don't want something that's really, really tall. Okay, well, good. Then that helps you narrow it down some, right? That helps you narrow it down some. Those of you that have been doing ride-alongs, and some of you have got like 50, 60 ride-alongs, you've seen a ton of stuff already. Have you ever had to, you brought samples in, and the customer looked at them and said, yeah, that's not really it. And you had to go back to the van and get different samples? Yeah, isn't it a good thing that the van's sitting out there? I mean, okay, so you didn't hit it the first time. That doesn't mean you didn't hit it. You just didn't hit it the first time. Look, even professional baseball players get 3 strikes and a lot of different balls. It's fine. Okay? So at the end of the day, you got all these samples out there, and all you're trying to do is narrow it down close enough that you can go pick some samples, and then let's start a discussion and see what we're going to do from here. Okay? So create a new page here. When we think about the inspired sale, I'm going to go all the way back to the setup call. Then we get to the house and we do a warm-up. Do we talk about floors in the setup call?
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Yeah, we do, right? We want to get a little bit of a picture of the scope, right? We just want to get them to talk a little bit, okay? I know that in a setup call, they're not gonna open up and tell me their life story in a setup call, so I've got to get them to start talking about something, and the easiest thing to get them to start talking about is the project, because that's what they called me for. So yeah, in the setup call, I'm going to do a little bit of talking about the floor, but I'm not selling anything. I just want to understand what they're looking for. All right, what about in the warm-up? Are we talking about floors in the warm-up?
No.
No.
No. What are we talking about in the warm-up?
Them.
Yes.
Yeah, the person.
Anything else?
Anything but floors.
Pretty much anything else, okay? So if this is step 1, now I make it to step 2. What do we call step 2? This is our inspection. Okay, so now what am I doing in the inspection?
Taking a video.
Measurements.
Well, I'm going to get to the video. But what's the main thing that I'm trying to do in the inspection?
And walk the space.
Walk the space.
Yeah, walk the space. Okay. I want to call this, I want to understand the problem.
Yeah, the problem.
Okay.
It's like CSI.
So, yeah, exactly. Like CSI. I want to understand what is it that the customer is trying to solve? What is the problem? Okay, so what could be the problem? What have you guys seen on ride-alongs? What could be the problem that we're trying to solve?
Damaged floor from water.
Good. Water damage. What else?
The floor is ugly.
Yeah, the floor is just ugly. Good.
Just worn out.
It's worn out.
Their dog tore up their floors.
Could be. Yep.
It smells.
Even more damage.
Change of lifestyle. Maybe there's a new wheelchair in the home, or
There you go. Yep. So there's somebody else coming into the house or something different about the way we're going to use the space, and we've got to change the floor to accommodate that, right? So the problem could be 100 different things. I mean, it could be 1,000 different things, right? And it could be anything from a real hard technical problem that we have to solve to just, you know what? I don't like this color. Okay. There's nothing wrong with the floor. It's just, I don't like this color. So that's the problem we're solving. Okay. All right. What is my next step in all this?
Video.
Measuring.
I want to measure. Okay. And because I'm on the tablet, right? Because I'm on the tablet, I'm going to go ahead and price 3 options. Does it have to be 3? Might be 4.
Could be.
Might be 5. I don't want to put so many options that it makes me confused. But I'm also, one option is probably not the right way to do this. I want to have 2 or 3 options, maybe even 4 options ready to go. Okay. I say 3, maybe it's 2, maybe it's 4. Depends on how the scope of the project went. Now, some of y'all have thrown some other stuff in here. Yes, in the inspection, I want to be able to show a reference list. That's fine. Yes, I want to do an inspection video. Okay, remember, these are tactics that are out there to help you, that are out there to help improve your close rate. That's great, but I don't want to get hung up on a particular tactic. I'm a firm believer in this sales system. I use every piece of it every time. Well, not if I'm doing a commercial job. That's something different. But in a residential setting, I throw the book at them, because honestly, I'm not good enough to be able to just walk into a room and read the room and say, oh, the reference list is needed this one, but not that one. And frankly, I don't think anybody else is that good either. So I just throw the book at them every time, and I use all the tools at my disposal. Okay, good. But what is my main thing in step 3? I want to measure and I want to price it up. Now, when I say price here, you guys have heard me say this before, okay? When I say price here, I'm gonna call this my rough draft. Because it gives me the ability to go back later. That's going to give me the ability to go back later and adjust it as needed. Okay, so the customer, I'm going to get close. I'm going to be within a reasonable proximity of what that price is going to look like. Okay, what am I doing next?
Going shopping.
You create options with it.
Yep, so I've created options.
But that's
Right,
what you're
what
doing
am I
in the price, right? I mean,
The company story.
Yeah, so I'm going into the company story, right? So right in here, I'm going to make a little U-turn here just so that we have enough space, okay? Right in here, I'm out at the van. Right here, I'm out at the van. So I measured things up. I'm at the van. I put together my options. I pulled some samples out of the van. Being at the van gives me the ability to do what?
create options. I mean, that's what I'm missing something here. Where are you doing your options?
Yeah, I'm going to create options, no problem.
Okay.
Okay, what else does that, being in the van, being at the van, what else does that give me the ability to do?
Select sample.
Select the pro.
Okay. Okay. There's something else that it gives me the ability to do.
Call it a
Come up with a plan.
lifeline.
Yeah. This is the phone a friend. I can call 911 if I need to, right? This
And how
is
many
the
of us have already
perfect-
done it? A lot of us have done it.
the perfect opportunity because now I'm away from the customer and I need help. What do I do here? What do I need? What am I doing? What am I missing? Right? This customer told me that it's a rental property and they're just looking to do this. How do I attack this? This customer is telling me that they want their room to look like a castle. I don't even know what they're talking about. What do I do here? Right? This gives you an opportunity, you know, or from the Millionaire Show, phone a friend. All right. So who's your best friend? Who are you gonna call?
Manager.
Well, you got a franchise owner, right?
Yeah.
Who else have you got?
Manufacturer.
Anybody on this call?
You got anybody on this call?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, I mean, you've got a group. That's the whole reason, by the way, that's why I do the group me out there. That's why I put it out there. It's so that you guys have, from day one, you have a support network that you would never have at any other company. I mean, think about this. If you were working for some mom and pop shop flooring company, maybe you could call your boss or maybe you could call one of the other salespeople that work there. My gosh, you've got access to 30 people instantly. And as you meet more and more design associates and more owners around the network, you've got access to all of them too. Your phone a friend list is a lot longer than you think it is. There's a lot more people out there willing to jump in and help you than what you even realize right now. And here's the beautiful thing about it. Okay, this is the beautiful thing about it. John is sitting in Boynton Beach. Dave Lee is sitting in Seattle, Washington. Does it negatively affect Dave Lee whatsoever if John lands this sale? No, absolutely not. As a matter of fact, it does in the world of good for you to land the sale, right? So it's not like you guys are competing with each other. I mean, if you were part of a company, let's say not a franchise company, but you were part of some company, I've seen how this works, where one sales guy doesn't really want to help another sales guy, because if his numbers look better than my numbers, then he might get the promotion and not me, right? You don't have to deal with that. That's a lot of nonsense that you don't have to deal with this company. It just doesn't exist.
Arlen,
all right.
I need to go on a ride along with with Owen.
You can catch up the recording later.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, good. All right. So we come back in, and Josefina already said it. We come back in the house, and our next step.
Company story.
Is we go through the company story, right? So we spent some time around the company story last week. What is the reason for doing the company story?
To show the value of your business.
That's it. We're showing them the value. Okay, we're showing them the value. So I want to start by giving them I want to show them the inspection video that I took. I want to ask them if they contacted any of the people on my reference list. Again, those are tactics. They're not core, they're tactics. But now I'm going to dive into the company story with the customer, and I'm not going to ask permission. I'm not going to say something weird like, ooh, let me spend a few minutes and tell you a little bit about my company. I'm just going to dive right in. You know, the thing I love the most about my job is, and before they know it, I'm 3 slides deep into a company story, and I've captured their attention in a way that nobody else has been able to do. Okay, so good. We've got our company story. Part of the company story, we get into step 5, and I realize that this sometimes feels a little weird. Okay, so we've got that installation video, and it's sort of like right in the middle of the company story. But what it allows you to do is talk a little bit about your installers. It talks a little bit about what it is that you're going to do and how you're going to do it. It helps segregate what we do versus what others do, and it gives you the opportunity. I see a lot of people get into the company story. Be honest. You get into the company story, and you get to that. Into the installation video, and you get to that part where it's showing before and after pictures, right? How many of you have just sort of like fast forwarded to get to the end of it so you can keep on moving? Yeah, okay. All right. So let me challenge you to think about what are the things that you would like to say to a customer to talk about installation that, you know what, you don't have a particular slide to do it on, but that's a good 30 seconds that you can deliver that message. You know, it might be things like, hey, you know, we're going to move the big furniture, but I need you to take care of all these electronics and all these knickknacks and whatever else. Or it might give you a beautiful opportunity to talk about how you pay your installers more than the competition does. And as a result, you know, sometimes your price is higher, but you feel like you deliver a much better experience because you have installers that actually want to be there. So there's things that you probably want to deliver. There's messages that you probably want to deliver that you really don't know where to do it. Those before and after pictures are like the perfect spot to sort of put that stuff in. To use that time. Okay. All right. Then
Just
what
to
do we
add
do?
to that real quick, Arlen, I've had customers that are like, man, I haven't wanted to have my carpets replaced because I don't want to move all my stuff. You know, that's been like kind of a blocker for them. So when you tear those walls down and they're like, really, that's that easy.
Yep.
It's amazing how many people think it's more of a complicated process. So it helps.
The other thing that I love about the before and after pictures, again, it's just it's dead time in the way I look at it. It's dead time in that installation video so that it allows you to say something that maybe wasn't part of the script, or maybe you didn't know exactly where to put it, right? So a lot of times I'll use that time to tell somebody, you know, you called us out here to do carpet, but look, we do hardwood, we can do stairs, we do backsplashes, we can do tile, oh, you guys do backsplashes too? Well, I didn't even think about that. Can you look at a backsplash? So by telling the customer these are other services, here's the thing, they don't know what you do unless you tell them what you do. I'm embarrassed to say this, but I share it with you because it makes the point. I've been in a B&I group for near about a year. I mean, it was almost 9 months in, and I'd already had a chance to do my weekly blurb. I'd had a chance to do my 10 minutes over and over. And one morning I had my 10-minute presentation to do, and I decided it was a nice day. What we were going to do is, as part of my 10-minute presentation, we were going to walk outside and look at the van. And we walked outside, and I had just like an LVP board and a hardwood board and a carpet board just sitting on the side of the van for us to just take a quick look at. And I swear to you, somebody in the B&I group looked at me and said, "You guys do carpet?" I had no idea that you did carpet. I thought that you only did hardwood. Like, wait a minute. I've known you for almost a year now. I've been talking to you for a year. How is it that you don't know that I do carpet? Next thing I know, I'm getting referral after referral from this person because they were, they did cleaning, and they were constantly running into people whose carpets couldn't be cleaned, and so she would send them to me. All right, they don't know what you do unless you tell them, and those before and after pictures at the end are a great place. It doesn't matter. Yeah, the before and after picture is showing you hardwood. It doesn't matter. We do tile, we do carpet, we do this, we do this. All right, good. So what do we do after we're finished with the company story? We've done the install video, we've done the slides at the end of the company story, then what?
Go shopping.
It's a product
shopping.
presentation, yeah.
Product.
Yeah, look at it.
Okay. Product. I want to encourage you to do something here. I want you to write this down. When you do product, every time you pull a product out for a customer to see it, for them to look at it, I want you to look the customer in the face, look them right in the eyes, I want you to say these words. Now, okay, if you don't say them word for word, it's fine. It's not like somebody's going to come and hit you over the top of the head. It's fine. But if you can say these words to your customer, "I chose this product for you because you said," and you use the customer's words, they can't tell you that you picked the wrong product. I mean, they can tell you, "I don't like that color," and then you go back to the van and get a different one, and that's fine, okay? That's okay. But it's different than saying, "Hey, I chose this for you because I really, really like this product." Well, I don't care what you like. I want to know what I like in my house, right? Or you pull a product out and you say, "This is a great product because it's got a waterproof backing and it's got this and this and this." Okay, I don't care. What? Different. When you use these words, "You know what? I chose this particular product for you because you said that you were looking for something that was going to be more durable with the dogs." Great. "I chose this product for you because you said that you weren't really a fan of beige anymore and you wanted to do something different, and this is different than beige. I chose this product for you because you said you wanted a car that would go 90 miles an hour in a 180-degree turn. Well, that's why I chose this car for you." Whatever it is, right? If you tell the customer, if you give them the information back that they gave you, they can't argue with it. Now, maybe then they tell you that there's something else that they want as well, or maybe there's something about this one that they don't like, and that's fine. Okay, good. You're not going to hit it you're not going to hit the ball out of the park every time on the first pitch. And that's okay. But if you will at least tell the customer, "I chose this for you because you said this," there's no argument with that. So I want to hear, again, from those of you that have been on ride-alongs, for those of you that have run appointments, I want to hear from you. How does this product presentation work for you? What have you seen that works? What have you seen that doesn't work?
I have to say, and this, I had one this morning. This is the easiest for those of you who maybe haven't been out in combat yet. This might seem intimidating. This is actually, if you just take a few key notes during the discovery conversation, this is the easiest part of it. This is the part that lands almost every single time. It's the least effort, quite frankly. Now, if you haven't listened, and like Arlen said, you're trying to sell them what you think is good, you might swing and miss big time. But just this morning, she's got a grandchild playing on the floor. She's got a cat laying over there in the corner. They've got obvious damage from good hard living. But that really wasn't on her radar. Her radar was she has neuropathy in her feet. And if she has a rough surface with an aluminum oxide finish, it sends weird sensations up her legs. Now, I had never heard that. She couldn't care less about any of the stuff that I would have come at her with, which is the grandchild and the cat and the water damage. She has neuropathy in her feet. So she didn't want anything with an aluminum oxide rough feel. She wants a soft feel with as little texture as possible. Boom. There you go.
Nice, nice. What else have you guys seen that really lands or that doesn't land so that people don't make the same mistake?
Well, when you're narrowing down the product selection, is that what you're
Yeah.
going to?
When you're presenting product to the customer.
Well, I would have had to listen pretty closely, when I asked them in step 2, really what they were looking for. And when I'm out at the van, I'm trying to figure out what it is that, they wanted to go to, not bring them the colors they didn't, try to match the colors. When they say, we went through one where the lady wanted cream. We had everything we brought to her that even said cream wasn't her idea what was cream. So we just came back with, this like cornucopia of colors. And she picked something that I never would have thought was cream, but I gave her enough of a selection where she landed on it. And that was my kind of weirdness about it, because I'm not an interior designer. I'll put on a black shirt, what I think is black, and my wife tells me it's gray. So what I think and what they're looking to land on has been this like bottleneck for me. Okay, well, how much of this should I bring? And I'm selling to your senses, and I want you to love it, because without loving it, I'm stopping right here, because I'm not flipping this price to you until you love it. So, that's where I'm at with this. And I don't know how you guys are handling this at this stage, the ones that are doing it successfully. Now, I've watched my owner do it. Jason's awesome at it. And he's just like a matter of fact kind of thing where he knows which pallets to bring. I'm not there. So I want to ask as many questions as I can on that previous step, because I don't want to disappoint these people.
Good.
Or me.
What else you guys seeing? Richard, you've run like 8,000 appointments already.
Well, I mean, for me, so here's the biggest thing. With everything that I've sold, I'm colorblind. So my color has nothing to do with it. It really doesn't, because what we see in the van is not what they're going to see in their house. What I see in the van, I don't see in the house. So for me, it's always just been about narrowing down. Do you want this tall? Do you want this tall? Do you want to be able to feel the bottom of the carpet with your fingers and your toes, or do you not want to be able to do it? That's what I bring into them. I bring in the feel. I don't bring in the color. If they want, I'll bring a color. I mean, you have to, but it's not as important as what do they say? The dream. So, because that's really what I try to build off of every single time. What is the best of the best of the best that you want? And I'm going to bring that to you because this is what you told me you wanted. And then when they see the price, because I've gotten past that point, that's where I'll go down to the next one that I'm sure, you know what, they're probably going to love this too. It's just not going to cost $5,000 more than the one they really, really wanted.
Love it. I love it. And yeah, when it comes to color, I mean, if you bring in the sample board's got a bunch of different colors on it anyway. Good. What else have you guys seen that you're doing a ton of ride-alongs? Some of you have been doing appointments already. What do you see when you're presenting product to customers that really works? What lands for you? What are the techniques that you use to help a customer pick out a product?
For me, when I asked the question, when I say I chose this because you said the few times that I've been able to do that with the one-on-one with the customer, we have been able to close those, except for one. But it's been like that. It's been, okay, so you said that you want texture carpet or a pattern carpet, or you want LVP with this type of feel, this type of color, because you're tired of the carpet, or the look or the feel of the carpet. So when we've been able to do that, when we said, okay, we bring in the product that we think or we are close to, because we were listening, right, to the whole process. When you present it, I think that's been pretty successful.
Good. Good.
One other thing that I've done that has really worked, I mean, if you do the job of selling yourself as the professional, I think that's when I know if I've done my job right, because I'll say, yeah, I brought this in for you because you said you wanted this, but I brought this in because this is what's worked for me in the past. This is what I have in my house. So, and I do that a lot with SPCs because I love SPC. Absolutely love it. I have a pool table on my second floor. We hit the pool balls off to the first floor all the time. I don't have a single dent in my floor. So, and I use those stories that I've gotten from myself, from other customers. If you use stories kind of help, I found, your clients really link things together in their head, like, oh yeah, I could see myself doing that, or I could see my kid doing that. And those help also. So make it more of a story and more of a real life thing rather than a sales pitch.
Nice. Nice. You're solving the customer's problem, but it's not always a deep technical problem. Oftentimes it's just, what do I want it to look like and feel like? That's it. That's it. And you nail that, then you can help them understand how this is going to perform for them. That's good. This is how you can clean it. That's good to know as well. This, to me, step 6 is the easiest step of all of it. Okay. Now let's talk a little bit. I'm going to switch to a red pen because I want to talk a little bit about where do we mess this up. Okay. How do we mess this up? Well, part of the way that we mess this up is that in step 2, we'll start selling. I'm going to say no. What do I mean by that? Well, a customer says, oh, I've got a 150-pound dog. And immediately we start talking about the benefits of scuff resist hardwood or the density of SPC or something, right? We get excited because we feel like, oh, I'm going to show myself to be an expert. And, the customer said that they wanted, this is what the problem was. And we're like, oh, I've got the answer, and we can't help ourselves. And we just start selling right away. Okay. Step 2, this is about getting information. Step 6 is about giving information. Okay, and I'm going to show you why that's so important, but that is really, really critical, because if you start selling too soon, then you open yourself up to this idea of, you're all the way back up here and you're saying, ooh, I've got this wonderful LVP, I've got this great carpet, I've got this, I've got this. Now the customer is thinking about what you're going to bring in. Well, how much does that cost? Well, what about this? And what about this? And you find yourself answering all these questions about product way before you're ready to do it. Okay, you should be answering the questions about product when you're down here in step 6. Okay, now why is that so important? I'll show you why. After step 6, we've got something called a pre-close. Spell it right. Okay, step 7. Step 8 is the close. Now, without diving into the pre-close yet, I will tell you that the pre-close, this literally takes you 30 seconds. Okay, this is a very, very fast thing to do. This is not a long step in the process. This is quick. So when the customer says, This is the product I love. Remember, we just said that this purchase is an emotional purchase. So I want to be able to give the customer the price as quickly after they say, I love it, as possible. Okay? If I could get the customer to say, I love it, and within like 3 seconds, I could tell them, you love it? Great. Well, this is the price for that. That's exactly what I want. I want the amount of time from when they say, I love this, to when they see a price. I want that time to be really, really, really short. Okay? So what happens? I've gotten all the information I need here. I've priced up 3 options, but these are my rough draft prices. I've done all of my selling in the company story and in my product presentation, so that when the customer says, I love it, I can literally go into my tablet, I can make a quick change, of the product. If you don't remember that, that's the little switcheroo button in the tablet, right? That's that little switcheroo button that allows me to do a quick change so I can jump right back. So I put in a PG3 carpet, but now I don't want to put a PG3 carpet. I want to actually put in the name of the carpet. This is Winner's Choice 2. Good. So now I've got the exact carpet in there. Good. That literally, I mean, you should practice this, but it should take 30 seconds or less to do it. And I'm asking the pre-close question, which I'll go over here in just a minute. I'm asking the pre-close question, other than price or payment, would there be any reason we couldn't get your job started today? They say, no, it just comes down to price. I'm going to do everything I possibly can to not let price or payment stand in the way of you getting the floors that you love and deserve. Boom, here's your price. So from the I love it, through the pre-close and into the close, this is less than 1 minute. I did a secret shop of one of our sister companies. I did a secret shop of California Closets. And the lady did a great job designing a closet. I mean, it was really, really nice. And my wife was excited. She's like, yeah, this is the one I want. This is great. We love it. We love it. We love it. Okay. So then she sat down on the couch, didn't really tell us what to expect. She just sat down on the couch. She plugged her computer into the wall, which I don't have a problem with, but she didn't ask. So, you know, it would have been nice to at least ask if you can plug in. But she plugged the computer into the wall and she sat there, and it literally took her 45 minutes to build a proposal. Okay, well, I mean, if that's what it takes, I mean, at least tell me. My wife and I sat on the couch next to one another, kind of awkward, for 45 minutes because we had no idea how long this was going to take. So from the time we said, I love it, to the time she was ready to show us a price was 45 minutes. And it's probably the longest 45 minutes of my life. I mean, it was painstakingly long. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to turn this into a 1 minute exercise. Less than 1 minute, that customer is going to see a price. And then we'll move on from there.
Okay, Arlen, this is
Yes.
where I don't want to be a pain in the neck or anything, but let's say I've got a room. I've been in this house and we've talked about putting some tile down in one room. We talked about carpet. I've landed on tile. I'm just going to make this adjustment and go back to the carpet before I'm doing this big reveal on all the options, or I'm going to reveal a price off these options as I develop them. What say you?
Good. All right. So I have taken, I'm running out of colors. Sorry.
Running out of questions.
So I priced up 3 options here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And let's say that option number one was tile. Okay. So now I've got option number 1 is tile. Okay. In this example, option number one is tile. So I go through my company story, I go through my installation video. Let's do this. I go through my company story, I go through my installation video, I pick out the product. They get really, really excited about the tile. We do the pre-close question, and I give them a price for the tile. And we find out that the price to do the tile is $26,000. Okay. I have not shown them the option for hardwood. I haven't shown them the option for carpet. And I certainly haven't shown them the option for LVP or anything else. I've shown them one option. So option number one was we're going to do tile. Okay. When I get to the close and I show them a $26,000 price and they say, oh my God, $26,000, there's no way. The last car I bought didn't cost that. I mean, you know, 26 grand, I'm not doing that. Then and only then am I going to go back up here and show them another option and say, well, I tell you what, I've got another option for you, whatever it is, hardwood, and this hardwood option maybe is 20K, right? So now we pick out a hardwood. This is the hardwood you love. Great. Here's your price for that. Well, it's 20K. Nope, there's no way. I'm not doing $20,000 either. Okay, great. I got another option for you. What's my other option? Maybe I've got an option 3, which is a carpet option. And that's a $10,000 option. Whatever it is. I'm making stuff up as I go along. So I show them, we pick a product, we say this is the perfect carpet. We get to the close on that one, 10K. And now they say, you know what, 10,000, yeah, we could do that. Or they come back and say, you know what, we thought about it. We don't really want to do carpet. We'll stick with the hardwood, and we end up laying an option 2. That's okay too. My point is, what I don't want to do, I do not want to confuse the customer. I do not, this is not the way this works. I do not say, okay, well, I'm going to price up 3 options for you. I don't do a good, better, best. I don't say I've got a $10,000 option, a $20,000 option, and a $26,000 option, right? So I know that like Empire, Sears, Carpet One, there's several of them that do this. In fact, their tablet even shows, here's your best thing, this is your least thing, this is your lesser thing. Here's a $26,000 option, a $20,000 option, and a $10,000 option. That's all designed to have the customer pick the middle one. I mean, that's the whole reason that they do it that way, is to pick the middle one. Okay, we don't present product that way. We show the customer, this is my option 1. I've picked a solution for you, and we walk it through. They say no. Okay, good. I've got another option for you. Walk it through. You don't like that? I got another option for you. We walk it through. Okay. And the reason that we do that is because it's a better customer experience. It's not for us. It's so that the customer can keep things straight. It really is just to give the customer a better shopping experience.
Okay, but I've walked into that house and they said, I'm doing 2 bedrooms in carpet and I want to do I want to do tile in this other room. So you're saying I've got to go through the carpet first and then go back through into the tile second? I can't do it all on one option and then start dropping things or adding things or.
No, I can absolutely do it all on one option.
Okay.
So you said, all right, this is my option 1.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 2 bedrooms of carpet.
Yep.
And I've got what? 1 room of tile.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And this is my option 1. Okay. Now, John, we're making stuff up, of course, but how do I want to structure option 2?
I could do maybe 1 room tile and then knock off the 2nd bedroom.
Yeah, I could do 1 bedroom of carpet, 1 room tile. Okay, maybe there's 1 bedroom that it's a guest bedroom. Maybe we'll do it, maybe we won't do it. Okay. How could I structure option 3?
Both bedrooms. It's gonna be your least cost, correct?
Maybe it's just the bedrooms and no tile.
Right.
Right? Okay,
Yeah,
so my
that's what I
point is this. Option one, here we go. Option one, I'm gonna work that all the way through the system until the customer says, nope, I'm not doing that.
Right.
And when the customer says, nope, I'm not doing that, okay, well, great. Look, let's take a look at another option. That second bedroom, you were sort of so-so about anyway. So what would it be if we just did the one bedroom and one room of tile?
Got it.
Okay. What I don't want to do is I don't want to confuse the customer and say, all right, here's what we can do. We can do 2 bedrooms, carpet, 1 room of tile, that's 26. I can do 1 bedroom, carpet, 1 bedroom, tile, that's a 20. And I can do 2 bedrooms, carpet, but not, and that's 10. And now the customer's confused because I've thrown so much data at them, they can't keep it straight. And this is where people end up doing this. This is where people end up, well, I landed option 2, but the customer is kind of confused and they think I'm supposed to do everything. Well, maybe if we had presented one thing at a time and let one thing sort of soak in before we went to the next thing, maybe then people wouldn't be so confused.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, good. I'm going to switch screens here. Where'd my Zoom go? Let's go. Here you are. All right. So, setup call, step 1, step 2, step 3, company story, step 5, and then we get into the product presentation. And the product presentation is all about getting the customer to say, I love it. I absolutely love it. There's not one, there's never just one way to solve this. There's always multiple ways to solve it. If you don't believe me that there's only one way to solve it, this is the only way to solve this problem, then I challenge you, don't land the job and somebody else does land the job. Well, there was at least one more solution.
Right.
There's always another way to do it. There's always another way to do this, okay? All right, so step 6 we went through. In sort of an advanced way, we don't cover demos in this class. When you're going to present product to the customer, simply use your I chose statement. I chose this product because you said. Then, of course, we're not going to do demos in this class. Demos are a wonderful thing. I love demos. They don't work well over Zoom, but there's plenty of videos on demos, and Shaw has a ton of videos that are available to you for their products. I'm sure Mohawk and some of the others do as well. You know, present the features, advantages, and benefits, but really focus on talking about what does it look like? What does it feel like? Is this a good color for you, right? The confirmation, is this the one you absolutely love? And then I'm going to dive right into the pre-close question. Step 7. Other than price or payment, would there be any reason that we couldn't get your job started today? Now, this is a really important question. This question is going to tell you, see, at this point, what have we done? Who remembers the 4 things, the 4 reasons that people buy?
Price, product.
Person.
That's the person.
So the 4 reasons that people buy in order, the number 1 reason that people buy is because of the person that they worked with. Right. The number 1 reason that people buy is because of the person they worked with. The number 2 reason that people buy is because of the company that you represent. The number 3 reason that people buy is because of the product, and number 4 is the price. Okay, so if I go backwards for a second, Where are we talking about the person? At what point in this game should the customer feel really good about us as a person?
Warm up.
Yeah, step one, the warm up. At what point in this game should the customer feel really good about the company that they're working with?
Company story.
Company story.
Company story. At what point in this should the customer feel really good about the product?
Presentation.
Yeah, the product presentation, step 6. I mean, guys, this is no big secret. This is the reason why this sales system is put together in this order, is those exact 4 things. So here I am at the pre-close. Other than price or payment, right? Listen to this carefully. Other than price or payment, would there be any reason we couldn't get your job started today? Other than price or payment. So you know what I'd really like to ask somebody? I'd like to be able to look at somebody in the eye and say, have I shown you that I'm the right person? Have I shown you that we're the right company? And have I shown you that this is the right product for your project? Except the reality is that probably only Roland, because he's in New Jersey, can get away with asking that question. Everywhere else in the company, nobody's going to be that bold, right? Nobody's going to be that forthcoming, right? Especially here in the South, you get the, oh, well, bless your heart, which means you're just an idiot. All right, so but in New Jersey, boom, is this it or not? Come on, tell me. All right, good. So everywhere else in the country, people aren't that direct. So I can't get away with asking, am I the right person? Yes or no? Is this the right company? Yes or no? Is this the right product? Yes or no? See, it's too aggressive. It's too offensive. So instead, we ask it a different way. We say, other than price or payment, okay, which leaves the door wide open to anything. Other than price or payment, would there be any reason that we couldn't get your job started today? Now, where are we? We're at step 7. Have they seen the price yet?
No.
No, they don't know the price. They have no idea what the price is. So if I ask them this question in step 7, other than price or payment, would there be any reason we couldn't get your job started today? If they start talking about, well, I still want to get some other estimates, what are they telling me?
You've done your job on the front end. Now deliver a right price.
Right. So if they tell me, no, it really just comes down to price, well, then that tells me that the first 3 things I've nailed. I'm the right person, the right company, and the right product. But if I ask this question, other than price or payment, would there be any reason we couldn't get your job started today? And they start making all sorts of excuses. Well, I still like to get other estimates, and I still like to do this, and blah, blah, blah. That tells me that I didn't nail something leading up to this point. Because they should be excited to work with me, they should be excited to work with the company, and this should be the right product at this point. Okay? This question, it's such a fast part of the system that we tend to blow past it, but it is such an important question to help you understand what's about to happen in the close. If I get, other than price or payment, would there be any reason that we couldn't get your job started today? And they say, no, it just comes down to price. Okay, great. I'm only dealing with price. That's the only thing I have left to solve. But if they give me other nonsense, well, I still want to get some other estimates. Why? I mean, I'm not going to ask them why, but in my mind, I'm going, why? What other estimates? I've got 3,000 samples. You haven't even seen my estimate yet. You want to do 6,000 square feet, and I'm about to do it for $500. What other estimates? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Okay. So we follow that with a commitment statement, and this is not word for word. In fact, it should sound like you. This sounds a lot like me. I want this to sound like you. I'm going to do everything in my power to not let price or payment stand in the way of you getting the floors that you love and deserve. And then that allows me to roll right into the close. Go back for just a second. That allows me to roll right into the close, step 8. So I've shown them the product, and they said, I love it. That's the one. Other than price or payment, would there be any reason we couldn't get your job started today? No, it just comes down to price. Well, great. Look, I'm not going to let price or payment stand in the way of you getting the floors that you love and deserve. Bam. The total retail price for your project is $26,872. You got in touch with 3 of the people on my reference list, blah, 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 and we'll get into the close next week. Questions about anything leading up to and including step 7? So some big takeaways from today. Step 2 is about gathering information. It is not about selling. Step 2 is gathering information. Step 6 is giving information. Okay. Steps 1 and 2, this is all about the person. Step 4 is all about the company. Step 5 is about the company and how we're going to do things. Step 6 is all about the product. We haven't talked about price yet. I'm going to walk one option all the way through until the close, and if the customer says, no, I'm absolutely not paying that much money, then I have an opportunity to go back and look at an option 2, option 3, whatever I need to do. But I'm not going to confuse the customer by giving them, oh, here's your good, better, best. I'm not going to play that nonsense with them and try to say, here's 3 things, choose from one of them. Okay. Any questions here? This is sort of the crux of it. Because next week we're going to dive into some closing techniques, but the closing techniques assume that we're walking through this way. Yeah, Amelia.
So I do have a question. So there are times where we are in a house, and I guess sometimes the budget, maybe it is the budget, or maybe it's just them trying to figure out what project they really want to move forward with. So a lot of times they are wanting like 4 different proposals, and I'm really trying to narrow them down. But sometimes we do get in that where they're like, okay, no, send me the 2 rooms and then just downstairs. But also, you know, and a lot of times it is just price shock. So they want 7 different options. How would you say, you know, target that?
Okay, well, that's fine. Let's say I walk in and all the way back in step 2, they're like, look, I want to see different options, this and this and this and this and this. Okay, fine. You know what? I'll be happy to put different options together with you. No problem whatsoever. I'll be happy to look at different options. But that doesn't mean I'm going to give them all to them at the same time. So I'm going to work option 1 through the process. And when I get finished and I've shown them the price for option 1, here's $26,000 for option 1. And they say, who knows, they might say, well, that's great. Let's just do it. Okay, good, done. Or they might come back and say, well, okay, let's take a look at these other options. What if we did this and what if we did this? No problem. Now all of a sudden I'm looking at option 2. Then I might be looking at option 3. What I don't want to do, okay, and this is a trap. What I don't want to do is I don't want to get into a situation where I'm emailing them 7 different options, because it's a trap. What I would much rather do is have that conversation face to face with the customer. They can say, well, what if we took that bedroom out? Okay, well, let me do it on the tablet real quick. Take me 2 minutes. Let's do that here. Okay, well, what if we did this, but not that? Good, no problem. Let's take a look at that together. Okay, if I have that conversation face to face with the customer, we can talk about the different things that are in the different options. But I can't do it. I can't have a conversation if I just email them 7 quotes. And frankly, the customer can't absorb 7 quotes. When I have had to, you know, and I've done it, right? Here's a customer that wants all these different options, and I put them together. I don't even send them 7 quotes. I send them one table in a simple email that says, if we do this, this, and this, this is your price. If we do this, this, and this, this is your price. If we do this and this, this is your price. And I just give them a simple table. That's it. And yes, I'm going to send you, you know, I will absolutely send you the detailed proposal, but it doesn't make sense to send you 7 detailed proposals. This, you know, you wanted 7 different options. Here's the price for 7 different options.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yep. All right, good. Then let's talk about homework. So I'm going to spend a minute talking about what happens next week. Between now and next week, you should be able to deliver the company story in less than 10 minutes. I want you to be able to memorize some questions that I'm going to show you in a moment. This should say week 5, not week 3. I'll fix that. Week floor U, you should be finished with week 5. You should finish all the Salesforce. So all of your stuff in floor U should be finished by Tuesday of next week. Everything should be done there. The questions that I want you to memorize they're right here. And before anybody says it, I'll just throw it out there. When you when you start looking at this third question, maybe half of you, maybe more, are going to have a negative reaction to it. And don't worry about that, okay? That's fine. Have the reaction. It's okay. You can throw up a little bit in your mouth. It's fine. But I want you to memorize the question. And next week, we're going to talk about what that question is doing, and we're going to put it in context. When you read that question out of context, it makes no sense whatsoever. In context, it makes a ton of sense. So I want you to memorize these 4 questions. Is this more than you thought it would be? How much did you think a project like this would cost? Now that you see what we do and how we do it, can you see why this would be more than you expected? And now that you've seen the price, how long would it take for you to come up with the rest of the money? Okay, this is setting you up for what we're going to do next week. It's a whole lot easier for you to do this stuff next week if you go ahead and memorize this between now and then. So what does next week look like? Next week, we are together 4 days straight. So next week is a long week. It is for everybody. We will meet starting at 11 a.m. We will start on Tuesday. So we've got Tuesday through Friday, 4 days. We will meet starting at 11 a.m. Eastern time on Tuesday. The reason I do 11 is so that Amelia is not having to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning. So we will start at 11 a.m. You will be with me from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern time. Now, there will be a break. We will take time to have lunch. It's no problem. We're not going to stay on Zoom like 5 hours just staring at each other. It will be interactive. No worries. Okay. For most people, they say everything kind of came together during this week. So it's always a good week for people. Monday, there is no class. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you're with me from 11 to 4. After 4 o'clock, Design Associates, you will be either with your franchise owner or you will be with another DA in your business. And I'm asking you to either go run a real customer appointment or have your franchise owner do a mock appointment with you and give you a competency assessment model. Fill out the competency assessment. What did you get? What did you not get, etc. Franchise owners that are on this call, so we've got several, Dave and Josephine and Dan and Roland and Michael and Ashley, you guys, you will be assigned to an ops coach with the objective of running through a full mock appointment over Zoom so that you can have the practice of going through everything and so that you can get feedback from your coach. Every evening, I ask that you send back that competency model, that assessment, send it back to me every evening, because the next morning, I'm going to start my day very early. I'm going to go through all of the competency models and see where we have gaps that we need to fill, okay? And we will fill the gaps. Friday, the timing is just a little bit different. We go from 11 to 5, and the valuation period is from 2 until 4 p.m. So the timing is a little bit different on Friday. But everything that we're going to do next week is on Zoom, except we're Design Associates, where you're doing full run-throughs with your franchise owners. Questions about what next week looks like?
So when you're talking about like the papers that you're going to like fill out, right, as you run like these mock appointments or real appointments after every days of the call, right? Like, yep. Where do we are we finding those papers? Or are those already in our franchise owners like inboxes? Like, how do I get those?
That has been sent to you on every recap email that I've sent.
Oh, okay. So I maybe haven't noticed it then, but okay.
You have gotten that multiple times.
Okay. I probably just haven't noticed it, but okay. I will make sure to go notice it.
Okay. And you're going to find that form it's a very easy form to fill out. It's a very easy form to work with. The reason I ask for it is because every time I go through the Inspired Sales class, there's always, each class has its own personality. Each class has different things that we're going to dig into. And so I take the feedback from those competency models and I use that to help me understand what is it that we really need to dig into the next day. Okay.
Totally makes sense. Thank you.
So you're saying I can do these virtually with my franchise owner because, I mean, he's running the business. So I want to set that time aside, let him know that I need him to do a walkthrough with. He's 20 miles from where I'm at physically doing these calls. So I can't see myself sitting in the office from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. and then having him have an automatic appointment in the field. So I would want to do it virtually would be the best scenario for me. Is that a common thing?
Yeah, I mean, you can do it that way. Look, you can absolutely do it that way. For me, I think the best scenario is that you guys end up doing a ride along together in the evening. It does not, so this, 4 to 6:30, I don't care about that time. If it happens to be a 6 o'clock appointment, whatever, it doesn't matter. Just sometime that evening, run an appointment together. Best case scenario is that you're actually going on a real customer appointment where you're running the appointment for as much as you can. You're running the appointment and the franchise owner is using that to do the competency assessment.
Well, I mean, I've got appointments that I'm doing between now and when this starts. Could I use the competency? Sure. Okay, that's my question, to the bottom line. Can I knock these off prior and have the homework turned in? It may not be.
So you can, but the catch here is it's not about checking a box. Like when we go through what we're going to go through on Tuesday, I want to see if it landed. And so the way I know if it landed is then you have an appointment Tuesday night and did that sink in, right? And if it did, great. Then I know we can move on to something else on Wednesday. If it hasn't sunk in, okay, then maybe we need to dig back into that. So if you knock them out now, okay, that's great, you did them, but it doesn't really give me the feedback that I'm looking for to be able to customize what we're doing the next day.
That makes it clear.
Okay.
Savannah just put on the text too that the franchise owners are pre-aware of all this, so maybe he'll schedule some for us. Okay, that's cool. Thank you.
Okay. All right, good. All right, so I'm going to hang around for a couple more minutes here. If you are catching up after the fact, hopefully you kind of let this sink in. If you missed today's call, there's your makeup, green, white, and orange. And maybe you'll figure out where these are coming from. Maybe you won't. That's okay. Try to give some hints.
Harlan, can you jump back to the homework slide, please? As usual, I'm slow on the draw there. The actual homework for today, the 10-second. There we go. Gracias, amigo.
There we go. And really what it boils down to is make sure all your floor use stuff is done, do the company story, and memorize these questions. And I will send the recap out and include these slides so that you have them in case you want to print this off or have these close by.
On that previous slide, Arlen, can you address, the ride-along part?
Yeah, ride-alongs.
Yep. G's total of 25 before ISC, which is the initial sales training, right? I'm stuck at around 9 right now, and 25 after.
So the idea is to try to have 25 before next week. So inspired sale class next week. The goal is to have 25 before next week and then do another 25 after that. So the franchise owners are going through something right now called sales leadership class. So while you're doing this class, the franchise owners, if you're their first design associate, they're required to do it. If you're not the first, they're not required to, but it's highly recommended. But sales leadership class has been going on for the last 5 weeks and will continue to go on after inspired sale class. And so the franchise owners that you guys work for are involved in a sales leadership class that actually takes them beyond where we're going to be next week. And then we continue to press through sales leadership class. So the goal, I mean, it's, again, this isn't a graded course, so to speak, but the goal is for you to get 25 ride-alongs before next week and then 25 after next week with no specific time. I mean, maybe that takes you 2 weeks, maybe that takes you 10 weeks, but you continue to do ride-alongs. the more times you get in the van with somebody else, the better you can give each other feedback.
Okay.
Good. Other questions? All right, if not, then I will see you guys next week.
Perfect.
Thank you, Erlen.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see you all. Great job, Arlen. See you soon.